Morning, Year 9. Thank you very much for your patience about waiting for me to upload another video. I tried to do Zoom for the past couple of days, but it seems that my computer is not working that well. So I will just be going back to creating videos to discuss our lessons in YouTube, because that one you will be able to rewind and to replay in case you don't have enough understanding of the lesson that we have. We will be discussing today about coastal hazards and coastal benefits. It means the dangers and the opportunities or the advantages that we can get when we are living, or for the people who lives near the coastline. So to start with, I'd like you to make sure that you have your books with you. You have a pen and a notebook that you can take note of, so that you can have your own notes for our discussion today. Also, make sure that if you need to pause, or probably if you need to write down notes, you can pause the video, and if you don't understand, you can repeat the video or portions of the video. If you have questions, you can also write them down, and after the video you can send them to me through WhatsApp so I could address and explain the information that you need to clarify. So let's get it started. Hazards in the coast. So I mentioned, or we study about hazards in probably each of the natural we talk about hazards probably on each of the lessons in the natural environment. So when we say hazard, it only means that it's something that is dangerous and likely to cause damage. Again, when we say hazard, we are thinking about the possibility of something to cause damage. This time we will talk about the hazards that the coast can give to people or to anyone who lives near the coastline. And we have here the coastal hazards that you need to learn for today. Number one, we have erosion. Number two, we have tropical storms, and we have tsunami. So I will be discussing them one by one as we go through along the slides. So let's start with coastal erosion. Coastal erosion, also known as shoreline retreat, is the loss of the coastal land. So take note of the word loss of coastal lands. It means that the rocks and the land and the coast are being removed or lost because of erosion, and it is because of the net removal of sediments and or the bedrock from the shoreline. The processes involved in erosion again includes hydraulic action, abrasion, and attrition. So I'm not going to go through each of this process because we learned them already. But when these three things happen together with the waves, then it takes away portion of lands, or it breaks the rocks in our coastline, causing our shoreline to get eroded, to be lost, and eventually it retreats, or the shoreline moves towards the land because it's losing sediments and rocks in it. So there will be two types of coastal erosion. It depends on how fast or how slow it happens. There are coastal erosion that happens very quickly and could be within days, or it could be within weeks. We call that a rapid onset hazard. Rapid means fast. So it can happen in a very quick manner, and it could take only days or weeks for the coastline to get broken or to retreat. And we also have the slower ones, which is a slow onset hazard. This type of hazard or danger can happen within many years, people may know that this hazard or this problem may occur, but they know that it will not happen very quickly. Sometimes it happens decades or within 10 years, 20, 30 years, or sometimes centuries. Centuries would be 100, 200 years. So most of the time, the danger that happens that causes problems to people will be the rapid onset hazard, the one that takes a very quick manner. I have here some photos that could show you a quick or a rapid onset hazard along the coastline. So as you can see, in the 2nd of January, we'll see this pavement, this part of pavement, and the streets next to the coastline. After 18 days, this part is now eroded. So you can see this pavement is now down there. It's being taken away by the waves. And on January 24th, a large portion of land has been taken away. So this is a danger. Why? So can you just imagine yourself driving here and then suddenly this portion of the street will go down. So that's a danger. There's a risk or a possibility that people's lives can get affected that may cause problem to people. Also, this is a shoreline or a coast with a fast or a rapid onset hazard. From this photo, you can see that it's still intact, and then after a while, this has fallen to the sea. So I believe you get the understanding that erosion can affect the lives of the people, especially if there are establishments, homes, and many other properties that are built along the coastline. And once the coastline is broken or being taken away, those properties can be broken, and if people are not aware about it, then lives can be lost. Here's another photo of a coastline in the UK. So here we have the photo before. You have a very wide piece of line in here, and after that, this has been the case. So a lot of the coastline in here, or these cliffs, are being eroded during high tides and storms, and once that happens, it takes away the land. As you can see, the land is now shorter. Here you have a very wide area, and now it has retreated. You have homes in here, but after a while, these homes are not there anymore. It's because it's retreating, it's being eroded and being taken away. Another picture is this. We have a very long canal or connection of this river going here. It's quite long, but after a few days and months of erosion, this canal is now shorter here. So erosion is real. It's not just a concept that we talked about in the classroom, but it is really happening. Another type of coastal hazard will be tropical storms. Okay, tropical storms are areas with very low air pressure in places near the equator. It's tropical because if you take a look at the map, places near the equator are what we call tropics, and storms that happen along the tropics or near the equator are what we call tropical storms, and what they bring are strong winds and heavy rain. Now we all know that waves are caused by wind. So when there are strong winds, chances are there will be larger waves. When these storms come, they bring large waves that can destroy homes, buildings, and take away people's lives in very serious times. So again, it becomes a hazard or a problem when it starts to destroy properties, homes, and buildings of people, and sometimes can take away people's lives. When hazards take people's lives, it becomes a disaster. Okay, we talked about this last year in our geography class. Hazard or becomes a disaster when it interacts with people. So there is one very prominent storm that happened 7 years ago, and again, this is something that we have studied last year. This was the typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines that happened in 2013. It was a hazard that took people's lives. It became a disaster to the extent that 6,352 were confirmed dead, and up to now there were 1,771 lives that are still missing. So this is not just one typhoon. There are lots of cyclones and tropical storms that happen in the world, and this is one that has taken a lot of lives for this decade. And last one, we have a tsunami. Okay, a tsunami is a large wave that is caused by an underwater earthquake or a volcanic eruption, and when it disturbs the motion of the water, when it displaces or moves, then it creates like a ripple, a movement or a disturbance in the surface of the water. It's not caused by wind, okay? It's caused by an underwater volcanic eruption. And as you can see here in the picture, when an earthquake happens, it disturbs the surface of the water. It creates waves. These waves, when it's far away from land, are just waves that are not even felt. It's just like a normal wave. But when it reaches land, because of the friction of land towards the water, it increases in size, and it can move towards the land and destroy whatever is in there. Okay? And this is a cross section of the tsunami. It moves from this point, from the focal point or the origin of the earthquake, and again, as it moves towards the land, because of its friction, the height of the wave becomes very high, and then it can cover up a lot of space on the land. So that is tsunami. So let's have a quick review. We have the three types or three hazards in the coastline. We have tropical storms, erosion, and tsunami. Now let's move on to the benefits. Now there are some other words that you can encounter when we talk about coastal benefits. You may see coastal opportunities, or you can see advantages, or maybe uses of the coast. They all mean the same thing: opportunities, benefits, disadvantages, and uses. And I will be discussing important benefits that we get from the coastline, which I believe most of you are already aware of. So benefits: people live on and close to the coast, and millions earn a living from activities that we get from this. So let's review what are these uses or activities that can give us good opportunities. So number one, we have the ports. We can use the ports to send and receive goods from other countries, and these goods are important because we need to buy things that we don't have in our own country, and we need to sell things that are too much in our own country that other people can get. So this can somehow help the money that circulates in the country. We also have seaside resorts. So when you want to go and relax, you can go to the sea, to the coastline, to for a vacation, or to maybe a honeymoon, or whatever activities that can cause you to recreate or to relax. Farming is also a use that we can do because of the presence of minerals and water near the sea, so it can help the plants to grow very well. Fishing, so there are lots of living things in the ocean, which is a source of protein for the people. So fishing is one of the big helpful things that people can get from the coastline. We also have industry. We have power plants, oil tankers, and other industries that are built along the coastline. They build it here because water is available, so water is badly needed in industries. So when processes like this are done with a good water source, then industries can become bigger. Homes will be another way or another use, because who doesn't want to live in a place like this? Look at the picture. You have a very good view of the ocean. You can recreate, you can surf, you can have a very relaxing view, and it's awesome to live near the coast. And dredging. Dredging is just taking away land or sand from the ocean, and we use these sands and sediments to create walls and to mix with concrete and cement to create buildings. So the materials from the coast, like pebbles and stones and sands, are taken to some other place to build homes and infrastructures. And the last one, we have defense. A coast can be a border to other countries. So in case of war or illegal entry, the national defense will watch over the coast. So the coastline can be a defense so that a lot of people will not be able to cross countries or go to your country at any time. So for me to make sure that you listened and you watched this video from start to finish, I'd like you to open your ThinkWave and go to this activity name. It says Discussion, Coastal Hazards, and Benefits. Answer this question. Number 1, why is it difficult for an LEDC or a poorer country to prepare and recover from natural disasters like a tropical storm? Say for example, the Philippines. The Philippines is an LEDC or a poorer country. So why is it's hard for them to recover or to prepare for a disaster or a hazard like this? So you explain your answer using a paragraph with at least 5 sentences to explain it. And number 2, out of the uses, the benefits, or the opportunities that I discussed a while ago, choose your top 3. Okay, the top 3 that can help to increase the GDP of the country, or the gross domestic product. So which of these 3 do you think gives out the most money to the country? So write down the 3 of them and then give a short explanation on how they can help in the country's GDP. Once you're finished, you send your answer in ThinkWave. Again, look for the title, Discussion, Coastal Hazard, and Benefits. So stay tuned for the next video. I will be discussing coastal management for your next activity. Thank you very much, guys.